Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Desi Audiawatami. I am from the 5th semester of English Department of Hamzanwadi University. Now I will explain my thesis proposal. The title is The Role of Motivation and Feedback in Improving Reading and Comprehension Skill Through the Wild Language Approach in SMPN for Pringabaya. Chapter 1. In Chapter 1, there are 4 component that I will explain. 1. Background of the study. Reading is a critical skill for academic success, particularly in junior high school, where students encounter complex texts. However, many students struggle with reading comprehension due to low motivation and insufficient feedback during the learning process. Reading and comprehension are crucial skills for academic success and personal growth, especially as students advance through secondary school. Many students struggle with this skill, which can negatively affect their academic performance and engagement. Motivation and feedback are important elements that can improve the learning process. Motivation encourages students to engage with material, while feedback helps them refine their skill. This study investigates how motivation and feedback can enhance reading and comprehension skill among junior high school students using the wild language approach, WLA. The WLA integrates language skill in meaningful contexts, allowing for more holistic engagement with text. By focusing on motivation and structure feedback within this approach, educators can create an effective learner environment that boosts reading proficiency and overall language development. However, English teachers in Indonesia face significant challenge because English is a foreign language, not a native or second language. This situation complicates the teaching of a language skill, especially reading comprehension. The study aims to provide insight to effective teaching practice that can be in various educational settings. Despite this challenge, this study focused on the influence of motivation and feedback on student reading comprehension skill at SMPN for Pringabaya using the English language approach, WLA. The purpose of the study is to teach how motivational strategies can increase student engagement and how various feedback methods can improve their reading comprehension. Thus, this study aims to find effective ways to improve student reading comprehension skill at the school. Purpose of study. The purpose of the study has two main focuses. First, the study aims to assess and evaluate how motivational strategies and increase student engagement in reading activities. By understanding effective method in motivation student, it is expected that their interest and participation in reading can increase. Second, this study also focuses on providing feedback on student learning comprehension and supporting the development of reading skill in the context of wild language approach, WLA. In this way, it is expected that students are not only involved in reading but also improve their ability to understand and use language in wider situations. Significance of study. The significance of the study is divided into two aspects. The first is theoretical. The study expected to expand the educational literature by connection motivation. Literature by connection, motivation, and feedback in reading learning, and explaining its influence on student reading skills. Then the second is practical. The result of the study provide guidance for students and teachers to create effective learning strategies. Students can get a supportive learning environment, while teachers and researchers can understand the importance of developing educational policies and teacher training to improve the quality of teaching. Lecture can also improve teaching method and student learning experience. Continue. Chapter 2. Then I will explain the six component in the chapter 2. 1. Understanding dual language approach. Dual language approach WLA is a language learning method that integrates reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills simultaneously. The focus is on real-life experience and interaction with authentic text, allowing students to deploy, understand language, make predictions, and connect new knowledge to exciting one. That WLA is effective in improving student reading and comprehension skill as well as creating an inclusive classroom environment for people from diverse cultural backgrounds. 2. Motivation in language learning. This material discusses the importance of motivation in language learning, divided into two types: intrinsic motivation comes from within, where students learn because of personal interest or enjoyment, which improves comprehension and retention. Ryan and Desi 2020. Extrinsic motivation driven by external factors such as reward girders and recognition. While effective for adjustment, its impact may be less profound in the long run. Daisy et al. 1999. A positive learning environment that combines but can improve learning outcomes. Tactics such as constructive feedback and collaboration among students can also increase their motivation. Of feedback in learning. This section explains the important role of feedback in reading and comprehension learning, according to Hattie and Timberlake 2007. Clear and constructive feedback help students understand their strengths and weakness. Formative feedback can also increase student motivation at the junior high school level. The whole language approach emphasizes the importance of feedback that is not only technical but also involved discussion of the theme and context of the reading. Synthesis. This material focuses on the interaction between motivation, feedback, and the whole language approach in improving reading skill, according to Desi and Ria 2002. Motivation is essential for student adjustment, while this instructional strategy emphasizes the integration of reading, writing, and speaking and promotes a holistic understanding of language as question. Feedback in this approach is multidimensional and encompasses multiple aspects of literary development, literature development. Each question. This study aimed to investigate the relationship between motivation and feedback in the development of reading and comprehension skill. The research questions are formulated as follows. 1. What are the motivational factors that influence student engagement in reading activities based on the whole language approach? 2. How do various types of feedback affect student reading and comprehension skill at SMPN for Pringabaya? 3. In what ways can the whole language approach facilitate the relationship between motivation, feedback, and reading performance? 4. What are student perspective on the effectiveness of feedback in developing their reading and comprehension skill? 5. What is the role of the classroom environment in encouraging motivation and validating feedback reading lessons? That's for example from this material. In chapter 3 there is 5 component. One, research design, qualitative approach. This study use a qualitative approach to understand the role of motivation and feedback in improving reading and comprehension skill through the whole language approach. Data collection. Data were collected through semi-structured interview with teacher and student, as well as classroom observation to determine the implementation of the whole language approach. Data analysis. The analysis technique used was thematic analysis. The researchers identified key themes from the data collected to understand two mechanisms of motivation and feedback. And 2. Population and sample. Population. The population of the study was all 7th grade students of SMPN 4 Pringabaya who learned to read using the whole language approach. Sample researchers will take samples that represent variation in motivation and response to feedback from students. Sampling technique. The type of sampling is purposive sampling, which is selecting students based on certain criteria such as academic achievement and motivation level. 3. Research. Participant research student consisting of 37 and 8th grade students who experience the reading learning process with the whole language approach. Teacher. To Indonesian language, teacher experience in the whole language approach. Parents of students were also involved to obtain their views on motivation and support at home.